I love Venn diagrams. I really do. I love Venn diagrams. It's just something about those three circles and the analysis about where there is the intersection, right? Yeah, I see people that you agree with me, right? So I asked my team, I brought props.
Kamala was in on it. She covered up Joe's obvious mental decline.
Our president is in good shape, in good health, tireless, vibrant, and I have no doubt about the strength of the work that we have done.
But Kamala knew Joe couldn't do the job, so she did it. Look what she got done. A border invasion, runaway inflation, the American dream dead. They created this mess. Kamala owns this failed record. Make America Great Again Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Like I said in my last video, my initial reaction to Joe Biden dropping out, let the games begin.
Let me tell you something. I don't want to hear shit about a process. If you don't want Vice President Kamala Harris to be the presidential nominee, then put a motherfucking name on it on who the hell you think should be the presidential nominee over Vice President Kamala Harris. It ain't gonna be no anybody but motherfucking Kamala Harris. It ain't no time for motherfucking hypotheticals. If you have somebody that's more qualified, put that motherfucking name on it today. You're not gonna sit up here and run these motherfucking whisper campaigns, try to sow dissension, sow confusion, and try to drag her motherfucking unfavorables up and try to sit up there and make it seem like she can't win without putting forth another person. Who's the person that can beat her and who's the person that can beat Donald Trump? Put a name on it, bitch. Let us have the mother competition. If you want a competition, let it be a competition. Can't nobody run against anybody. Run against it that you want. And then let us go to work. Because if you wanted to beat Muck and toe to toe, if you want to question whether or not she can hack it, then let's see if your person can hack it. Because I'm ready to go to work on anybody up in this mother. Please believe it, okay? We ready. We ready to stand 10 toes down. So make sure your motherfucker is ready. If they jump in the ring, make sure they're ready to take some motherfuckers shots. If we're not doing the unity shit, if we're not going to do the let's all kumbaya shit, then let's go. Let's go. Put a name on it today, bitch. Let's do this shit. No more motherfucking hypotheticals, no more playing around. Put a name on it.
Guys, don't get it twisted. Kamala Harris being endorsed by Joe Biden makes it less likely that the Democrats are going to have an open convention. Now, they might move forward with it anyways if they want to completely nuke their party. Who knows? Okay. But regardless, the Trump campaign has been preparing, and I believe moving forward into the future, they are preparing for Kamala Harris to be the nominee for the Democrats, okay? And now they're already attacking Kamala Harris. Trump actually just released an ad instantly after Joe Biden dropped out and endorsed Kamala Harris. You guys saw it at the beginning of this video. They are already trying to go after Kamala Harris, which is a smart move, okay? And we're going to explain how the Trump campaign probably is going to attack Harris, at least as of right now, because she doesn't have a VP yet.
But I want to start with CNN special correspondent Jamie Gangel. Jamie, you're learning more information about how all of this unfolded.
So first of all, I think we've said this before, but it's worth saying again, this was a surprise to Kamala Harris and her team today. And the first thing I'm told that they're looking at is logistics. They have a campaign to put together. She has to get the nomination. She has to see, as Phil was talking about earlier, whether anyone's going to challenge her. The other thing is simply, how does she get her name on the ballot? Yes, she is part of this infrastructure with the campaign and the convention, but this is a whole new game. And the last thing I'm told, multiple sources said we should look for the following. Will she reach out to another candidate, and they gave me some names, to put together a ticket? This is two reasons. One, to get some challengers maybe to go away who might be considering it, but also to get the party to coalesce around a new team to create excitement and to win. The names that are being floated that she might be interested in reaching out to, I don't think they'll come as a surprise. Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, who I am told she likes a lot, knows very well. And as we saw just a little while ago, he has already come out to endorse her publicly. That happened very quickly, and I know their camps speak to each other quite often. The other names will also be familiar. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear has been mentioned a lot, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. There are clearly others, but those four names are the names I keep.
But Trump does have a VP, and Kamala was taking shots at J.D. Vance when he was selected, and J.D. Vance instantly fired back at Kamala Harris in probably one of the best ways possible.
Hey everyone, so Donald Trump has picked his new running mate, J.D. Vance. Trump looked for someone he knew would be a rubber stamp for his extreme agenda, and make no mistake, J.D. Vance will be loyal only to Trump, not to our country. And unlike Mike Pence, Vance said he would have carried out Trump's plan to overturn the 2020 election. He supports a national abortion ban and voted against protecting IVF. And if elected, he will help implement the Extreme Project 2025 plan for a second Trump term, which would target critical programs like Head Start and Medicare. But we are not going to let that happen.
It's such an incredible, a blessed week. What a cool thing it was to be asked by President Trump to serve as his running mate and to get out there on the campaign trail. But there's some bad news, actually. The Vice President, Kamala Harris, she doesn't like me. Kamala Harris said something to the effect that I have no loyalty to this country. Well, I don't know, Kamala. I did serve in the United States Marine Corps and build a business. What the hell have you done other than collect a check? What? What has she done other than collect a check from her political offices? And we have to give her credit, my friends. She did serve as border czar during the biggest disaster open border that we've ever had in this country. Let's get President Trump back there, close down that border, and bring some common sense and security to this country.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Now, that was a pretty good comeback from J.D. Vance. And if that is a preview of how the Trump campaign is going to handle Kamala Harris, then we're going to have a pretty good plan of attack against Kamala, right? Because she is attached to this administration, no matter how much the Democrats are going to try to distance themselves. And this is part of the reason why they could have a contested convention and try to complete the coup against Biden and Kamala by getting rid of Kamala, so that they can completely wash their hands of the disaster that this administration has been. Which, by the way, this is why I believe that Kamala is going to struggle finding a vice president unless she gives up a whole lot of power and control, right? Who wants their name attached to the worst administration in history, right? Because if Democrats and their strategy is to come out here and to sell us this garbage that, oh, well, the last 4 years have been great under Biden. The only reason he's stepping down is because of his mental decline. I just don't think that's going to work, right? Because Biden was already losing before the cat was let out of the bag, and the mainstream liberal media and Democrats finally admitted that this guy definitely should not be president of the United States. And that's because his policies have been a disaster, right? The results have been a disaster. So if Democrats are going to come out here and keep pushing the same old nonsense when it comes to their policies, again, I'm not sure if that's going to work. I think that's a bad strategy. However, a good strategy for the Republicans, for Trump and J.D. Vance, is to continue to attach Kamala Harris to the Biden administration and the disastrous policies of the Biden administration, okay? And that ad you guys saw at the beginning of the video is kind of one of the talking points that Republicans need to use, especially when it comes to Democrats and their lies, right? Their gaslighting. It's like, well, how can you believe anything that somebody like Kamala Harris says when she defended Joe Biden and actively participated in the cover-up of his mental decline, knowing that he was not capable cognitively of being president of the United States, which we now know for a fact because Democrats have successfully staged a coup against Biden, right? He's resigned. But yet, when Robert came out with the report that, hey, something's wrong with Joe Biden, Kamala Harris said that it was gratuitous to say something like that. She also defended Joe Biden after his disastrous debate performance.
I have been privileged and proud to serve as Vice President of the United States with Joe Biden as President of the United States. And what I saw of that report last night, I believe is, as a former prosecutor, the comments that were made by that prosecutor, gratuitous, inaccurate, and inappropriate. So the way that the president's demeanor in that report was characterized could not be more wrong on the facts and clearly politically motivated, gratuitous. And so I will say that when it comes to the role and responsibility of a prosecutor in a situation like that, we should expect that there would be a higher level of integrity than what we saw.
The debate of the 2024 presidential campaign is now history. The fallout from it is just getting started. Joining us now is Vice President Kamala Harris. Madam Vice President, thanks for being with us. CNN's John King has described a panic inside the Democratic Party right now because of President Biden's performance in tonight's debate. He's been hearing from Democratic lawmakers and others around the country. Some within your own party are wondering if President Biden should even step aside. What do you say to that?
Listen, first of all, what we saw tonight is the president making a very clear contrast with Donald Trump on all of the issues that matter to the American people. Yes, there was a slow start, but it was a strong finish. And what became very clear through the course of the night is that Joe Biden is fighting on behalf of the American people, on substance, on policy, on performance. Joe Biden is extraordinarily strong.
And I'm sorry, on substance and policy and performance tonight, I mean, the president's performance tonight clearly was disappointing for his supporters. CNN is reporting Democratic lawmakers watching the debate were worried about the president's performance. One said it was a disaster. Another called it a train wreck. Those are Democrats especially worried that Biden did not punch back on Trump's lies.
Listen, people can debate on style points, but ultimately this election and who is the president of the United States has to be about substance.
Yeah, again, that's the point that Kamala is missing here, right? Which is that nobody got any substance from Joe Biden because nobody really knew what the hell Joe Biden was talking about. Biden didn't know what he was talking about, right? So people couldn't actually understand the substance, right? That is the point. That is what people are upset about, right? But again, Kamala, who is complicit in the cover-up here, okay, is lying to the American people. So the most obvious line of attack against Kamala is that she is not trustworthy. She's a gaslighter, and she needs to answer questions about why she lied about Biden's condition. And if she didn't lie, she didn't know, we got to question her judgment because you work closely with Joe Biden. You tried to tell me in meetings you didn't know that this man was mentally deteriorating? Those are tough questions that she should have to ask if we had an honest media. But because we know the media is not honest, they're going to not ask Kamala Harris those questions, right? They're going to pretend like everything is great because they have a new person, okay? But again, the Trump administration cannot let Kamala get away with trying to detach herself from the train wreck that is the Biden administration because she is also responsible for some of the disasters that have happened in this country. Like, for example, when you look at the border, she was the border czar, right? She was in charge of the border, okay? And under her direction, the border has been a disaster, okay? So now you can say, hey, blood is on Kamala Harris's hands. She's the border czar, right? That's the new line of attack.
Warning. The following may upset liberals who don't want voters to know the truth about Kamala Harris.
If you ever wondered how Joe Biden could get the border so screwed up, remember, he had help. Here's Biden appointing Kamala Harris to be his border czar to deal with illegal immigration. And here are a record number of illegal immigrants, 10 million and counting, flooding over the border after Harris was put in charge of stopping illegal immigration. To be fair, Harris got off to a rough start. by ignoring the border.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
I'm here in Guatemala today. At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making.
Harris was liberal on illegal immigration before she ever reached the White House. As a prosecutor in San Francisco, Harris allowed illegal immigrant drug dealers to enter job training and have their criminal records wiped clean. One of the illegal immigrants Harris released went on to steal an SUV and ran down a young woman, seriously injuring her. And, of course, Harris backs sanctuary city laws that harbor illegal immigrants, even criminals. She even backs taxpayer-funded health care for illegals, record illegal immigration, special treatment for illegals, taxpayer-paid benefits. And Harris still doesn't get it.
I've been working on this issue for a very long time.
That's the truth about Kamala Harris. She's dangerously liberal on illegal immigration.
Also, keep in mind, Kamala Harris, when it comes to the disaster that happened in Afghanistan, she claims that she was the last person in the room when he made that disastrous decision that resulted in the unnecessary death of American heroes.
And President Biden always said that he wants you to be the last person in the room, particularly for big decisions, just as he was for President Obama. He just made a really big decision. Afghanistan.
Yes.
Were you the last person in the room?
Yes.
And you feel comfortable?
I do. And I'm going to add to that. This is a president who has an extraordinary amount of courage. He is someone who I have seen over and over again make decisions based on what he truly believes, based on his years of doing this work and studying these issues, what he truly believes is the right thing to do. And I'm going to tell you something about him. He is acutely aware that it may not be politically popular or advantageous for him personally. It's really something to see. And I wish that the American public could see sometimes what I see. Because ultimately, and the decision always rests with him, but I have seen him over and over again make decisions based exactly on what he believes is right, regardless of what maybe the political people tell him is in his best selfish interest.
Yeah, so not only was Kamala Harris the last person in the room when it comes to Biden's disastrous decision on how he's going to conduct the Afghanistan withdrawal, she also is endorsing his decision-making process, right? So all of these things Kamala has said, which makes her a very, very, very weak candidate, right? If they stick to the policy, right? That's what it always comes down to, right? It's easy to attack Kamala on her laugh and all the crazy things that she says because when she talks, she kind of sounds like Joe Biden, right? She might actually be worse than Joe Biden, right? Kamala just sounds high, right? Every time she talks. But that's something that the American people will be able to pick up on very easily, okay? There's a reason why she dropped out of the Democrat primary before a vote was cast because anytime people hear her talk, people like her less, right? That's just how it is. So in a situation like this, where we have a whole new race, okay, and Kamala's at the top of the ticket, you got to stick with the policies, man. And you have to attach her name to the policies and don't let her run away from the disaster that the Biden administration is. Because she's a part of it. She was a decision maker, right? She said it herself. I was in on it. She was in charge of the border, okay? She supports Biden's terrible economic policies. She was in the room when Biden was mentally deteriorating and lied to the American people about it, didn't say anything about it, didn't do the right thing. And all of these are reasons why she should not be president. All of these are reasons why you're going to get the same exact result under Kamala Harris that you got under Joe Biden, which is chaos and destruction. That's what you're going to get. Does anybody really trust Kamala Harris in the same room with Putin or Xi or any of these world leaders? She's going to embarrass us the same way that Joe Biden would, right? She already has. She already has. So, again, Now that we moved on to Kamala for now, right? Unless, again, Democrats stage a coup against her, which they probably will. I don't know, right? Democrats are so unhinged at this point. Okay, they hate democracy so much. They can't stand the idea of the people actually having any say on their candidate or their nominee. But anyways, if she stays in the race, she's incredibly easy to beat. And you know this because you're already seeing the attacks, right? You're already seeing the attacks. I played both ads in this video, right? The ad about Kamala Harris covering up Biden's mental condition. The ad about illegal immigration, which she's responsible for, she was in charge of. And again, you got Afghanistan. Plus all the other things that Kamala Harris is attached to as well, too. And on top of that, she's awkward, right? Her laugh.
From the moment we take back the White House from crooked Joe Biden and Kamala, I call her Laughing Kamala. You ever watch her laugh? She's crazy. You know, you can tell a lot by a laugh. No, she's crazy. She's nuts. She's not as crazy as Nancy Pelosi. Crazy Nancy. Did you see Nancy Pelosi is selling out Biden now? Did you see? She turned on him like a dog. Well, I don't know if he should continue. All of a sudden, where did that come from? She was 100%. All of a sudden, she's not sure. Not sure means he's gone. But no, she's crazy as a bed bug. She's a crazy person.
So again, there's plenty of footage, interviews, lines of criticism against Kamala Harris that the Trump campaign can use. And don't listen to the mainstream media talking about, oh, Trump is afraid. They're scared of Kamala Harris. Nobody's scared of Kamala Harris, right? The only thing Kamala Harris has is her genitalia, her skin color, and abortion, right? That's it, right? That's all they got, okay? And they will be spamming that. Trust me, it will be all the attacks against Kamala are racist, right? Them talking about her laugh is racist, it's sexist, okay? And then it'll be abortion. That's what it'll be. Bigotry and abortion will be what the 2024 election is about, right? This is what Democrats and the mainstream liberal media will make it about. But again, that is to deflect from the failures of the Biden administration, which Kamala Harris is attached to. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.